But the thing I'm working on now, Kyle, that I'm super excited about, I've been working on for a year and a half. The problem I have is I have this amazing group of A team members, and I mean 85% female, 80+% millennial, incredible human beings, deeply passionate about what it is that we do. But I needed to grow them into leadership.
Okay.
They're contributors, they're key role players, but I need them to grow into leadership. So I went out and looking for a leadership program. And there's like this little piece. Some of what I do agree with, some of what I don't. And it's like nothing was holistic. Nothing was a real development program for leadership for the modern world, because the world's changed. So most leadership is written towards a 20th century reality, command and control, top down. So anyway, I got frustrated and I went and started creating one so that I could take my own team through it. A year and a half in the development. It won't be for another quarter or two, but it's called Hero's Journey. I went and I bought the URL years ago. I've been simmering on this for more than 5 years.
Okay.
And it's called A Growth Adventure to Becoming a Modern Day Leader. And so, because leadership today is so radically different than it was 20 years ago, because we have 5 generations of the workforce at the same time. There are more, the labor force of women is greater than it is for men, because 1 out of 5 families, the parent at home is the father. That's a whole new phenomenon. Diversity is increasing. So what's missing, what hasn't been trained, is emotional intelligence. How do you develop the emotional intelligence as a leader in order to create collaboration and synergy amongst 5 different generations, which were acculturated through radically different eras in time? When you got how a boomer grew up versus how a Gen Zer or a millennial, their worldview, their perspective is radically different. How do you get them to collaborate? How do you motivate each of them uniquely? How do you be a different leader for the different types of people that you have in a very diverse workforce? And how do you build that around systems of growth and in a very complex, highly competitive work environment? Now we're global, technology's influenced the communication platforms, and so that's the thing that I've been working on. You can see I'm excited about it. So it's 5. The hero's journey is 5 stages. So you grow developmentally through 5 different stages. It's 21 modules. So it's 4 modules per stage, and just following kind of the path that Joseph Campbell outlined in what is the hero's journey is the hero's journey in the growth of becoming a leader. Because really, what is the hero's journey, right? The hero's journey is where a person in the ordinary world gets a call to adventure, and they leave the ordinary world, and then they go out into this mystical, magical world where they're having to face threshold guardians, and they're having
and usually there's some kind of challenge.
Right. They're facing exactly. They're facing the dragons, they're facing these obstacles, and they go through this journey to eventually make it on the other side, with the only objective being developing the power and wisdom to come back to bestow it onto your fellow man. So really the hero's journey, even in the classic sense, is really growing as a leader, as a person of influence, as a person of consequence, so that you can develop the wisdom, the insight, and now to then bestow it to others to help them on their life hero's journey. So that's what I've been working on. And I think it's going to redefine all that I do.
And how's that going to come out? Is it an event and then
It'll be a digitally delivered curriculum, because the objective is you're running a company, you've got 20 employees. Right. It is for you to go through the program with your team. Right. So you're facilitating the journey with your team.
Have you started it yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what a model you've done in the past is you do an event, right?
We'll kick
and then
it out.
you come back.
I've done that.
Okay.
I've captured the source material of the core, and then I package the lead in and then the training component on the back end.
That's a little formula I always give people, is to test small. I always ask 2 questions. Number 1, do you have an audience? You do.
Yeah.
Number 2, do you know if people want it? Well, if they don't, it's like, well, do a little small event and see if people want it.
I did.
And,
That's
right.
exactly what I did. A friend of mine has a big company in Topeka, Kansas, but he has his actual training room inside his campus, and it's beautiful. And we put
work
on
it
an
out.
event for 150 of his employees, and filmed it, and it was sensational in terms of the impact it had on. So I was like, okay, we've got the source, we've got the centerpiece of it. Now we need to then make it a development program. Like how do you create an implementation program so that it leads a team of people progressively sequenced over time in a developmental fashion. So it alters behavior over time.
Wow, so powerful. Well, hey, I know we're probably up against it. Darren, this has been amazing. So if people want to find you, if they want to get Darren Daily, what's the best way to?
DarrenDaily.com.
Very
or you just go to our website, DarrenHardy.com.
And then your high performance productivity course, which is incredible.
Insane
I've been through it.
Yep.
I've been to the event. I've got the online course. I've heard you talk about it. So many people in my world have been part of that. How can people find that and be part of it?
InsaneProductivity.com. And it is my obsession, having had to be an achiever to make my dad proud, was always how can I do more in less time, more efficiently. And that's just been an obsession I've had since I was 8 years old. Then given the opportunity to be up close and personal with the greatest achievers of our lifetime because they wanted to be in success or they wanted to be on, some of our programs. That's what I've distilled. That was the obsession I was seeking every time. And so I took that 25-year journey of finding those answers, applying them, trying them, see if it works in the real world with real people, not just people already at a Uber level success. And the best of that is what is the curriculum inside Insane Productivity.
And what I love about it, you begin with your values first. Mm-hmm. Like, what life do you want to live, right? Mm-hmm. Those people begin at the bottom and what they're trying to accomplish. And you begin with who do you want to be? What are you about? What's important to you?
Right.
And then from there you build. And you are an example of that, right?
Yeah.
You have created the life you want to live. And again, a lot of that's by saying no to a lot of things, giving up one thing to have something else. And all that's in the program. Yep. You walk people through all of that.
Yep. It's the distillation. It's almost like, you can learn it the hard way, or you could just sort of get the answers to the test. You can skip the 25-year hard labor to put it all and figure it all and try it all, and you could just get the answers to the test. It'll definitely accelerate somebody, becoming victorious on their own hero's journey.
Right. So if someone, and I know you said you're not speaking much, I've had you speak at my events. It's like a mic drop. I mean, you nail it. It's incredible. If someone was interested in trying to get you to come speak at their convention or an event, what's the best way? Is there an email they can send, or?
You would just go, I think at DarrenHardy.com, there's a contact us. And I think that goes to the appropriate person. Kylie and my team is the one who facilitates all those.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
That, Kylie. So any closing words for the audience?
No, I just, keep pursuing better every day. It's amazing that if all you focus on is what are the small things, the little things that I can do today to be better today than I was yesterday, and then the accumulated compound effect of that. You look up 3 years and you're like, oh my God, look at the you couldn't have planned for it. You couldn't have set a goal for what the accumulated compound effect of small little improvements kept aware and focused on every day has in one person's life. Everybody's looking for the big idea. They're looking for the big leap. And in reality, the accumulated compound effect of those small improvements made daily will far exceed what you could plan for, I promise.
And that's worked for you.
Unbelievable.
I was going to ask you about your morning routine. Can you give us a minute on your routine?
It's not just what it is, it's the fact that you have one, right? If there's only a couple of times in your day when you can control it emphatically, because no matter what you plan for, like what's the best way to make God laugh, tell him your plans, and then in Murphy's Law, if it can't happen, it will happen. In the middle of the day is always going to be chaos and unexpected situations. But there's 2 times: when you first get up in the morning and just before you go to bed. And so what you want to do is be very thoughtful about what you program into those 2 times of your day, because that's your bookend. So whatever behaviors you want to make sure you're being consistent with, put them predictably in those 2 parts of your day. So when I get up, people think it's crazy, but I get up, coffee, I sit down, and I watch my Darren Daily. Now I have written it, I have performed it, I have edited it, I have overseen its distribution. So it's not new information, but it's one thing to think about that day, right? Instead of the swirling of all the things, it's like, this is the one thing I'm going to think about. I got my Darren Daily journal. I take notes on the content I'm delivering. I know it seems crazy.
I love it.
But it's just, all it does is put in my reticular activating system, scanning the environment of abundant possibilities, of endless possibilities, one thing to focus on, one thing to look for or to be aware of that day. That's that small little improvement compounded over time. So, I do that, and then I do one MVP, my most valuable priority for 90 minutes.
Okay.
And one head down, non-distracted, focus on the thing that's most important to you in 90 minutes accomplishes before 8 a.m. in the morning what most people will do in 3 days.
Wow.
Because they don't ever take isolated time to work on their most valuable priority without distraction at any point of their day. And the chances to have it happen later are significantly less. Of course, you try to get 3 or 4 of those in throughout the day, but the one in the morning is assured. And so
when you're traveling,
I will get up early as it takes to have that morning routine happen.
Okay. Wow.
I will.
So now you work out later in the day. We've talked about that in the past, because you want to get some stress off. Part of your exercise is stress.
And you have to figure out your rhythm, right? The way your system works. Like in the morning, my mind's on fire. My body's like, let's have another cup of coffee. You know, it's like, it takes a while to rev up my body, but my mind's like, it's the clearest it's going to be all day in that morning time. In the evening, I've been sitting here all day, and my body's like, get the hell out of the chair. We got to go work this out because you're killing me here. Right. And my brain's like, I'm fried. I can't do anymore. So it's the perfect. But for other people, it's the opposite.
I'm with you on that. The key is making sure it's still blocked out, right?
Right.
The longer the day goes, the more likely that you might not do it.
Right.
So again, for the sake of our audience, I want to share one quick thing that you shared with me in the past. You said, hey, if I'm writing a book or if I have a big project, you gave me a phenomenal formula. You said about 2 to 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 times a week for 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And you would just block it out. And that's how you wrote the compound effect.
Yep.
And so powerful formula.
Yeah. I mean, success compression, how can you block out times where you go wholly deep into something? Because if you're doing things in fits and starts, you never are able to get into the zone, into the mode. So you want to be able to find chunks of isolation so that you can get to the momentum, right? But not too long. Like you can't just, I'm just going to take X period of time, because there is a point of diminishing returns,
right? Where
cognitively you're creatively spent. The tank is empty. So it's better to find shorter blocks more often than it is to just say, I'm going to take 3 months and go into the woods and write. That actually is not that successful. You're going to be constantly trying to pull out of the empty tank the whole time.
Right. So powerful. Well, hey, the good news is I didn't get around to most of my questions, which means we came up with new and better questions. Thank you, my friend. It's been an honor to have you today, and it's your beautiful home.
Thank you very much.
You gave me the tour, and it's amazing, and I could ask you a bunch of questions about that to share with the group as I look at the rhino in the background.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
My pleasure, buddy. Thank you for all you've done.
Man.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing things. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Having fun doing it. So it's all good.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.